towards the end of the summer, I believe in like August, I actually got 2 job offers and was able to choose the company that I'm at now and started September 26th and really haven't looked back. But yeah, it was quite the journey to get to this position, that's for sure.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maddie. I'm head of Academy here at PreSales Academy, and I'm here with Jessica Terry, who's currently a sales engineer at Clear Company. Jessica, how's it going today?
Really great. I'm really excited to be here with you, Maddie.
Yeah, well, it's so great to talk with you. You're also a member of our alumni committee, which is pretty incredible. And I believe you would have graduated PreSales Academy just under a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Which is so crazy. So before we actually kind of get into your backstory, why don't you kick off with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Jessica Terry. I went through cohort 3 of the PreSales Academy. I was a teacher for 6 years before becoming a sales engineer, and I live outside of Portland, Oregon. Yeah, and now I just work from home instead of in a classroom.
Yeah, which is a huge shift going from teaching to pre-sales or sales engineering. So at what point did you decide you wanted to do something differently, and how did you end up at pre-sales?
Yeah, by coincidence, really. But I knew I wanted to do something different going into my 6th year of teaching, just because teaching is a great profession. But, when you're a teacher, you just kind of are a teacher, which is great. But I knew I wanted something more out of it, more growth opportunities, more money, obviously. And I live far away from the school I was working at. So I wanted to totally X off the commute. So I was looking at like SDR and BDR roles for ed tech companies and quickly realized that that is not what I wanted to do. And so kind of gave up on the job search for a while. And then Maddie messaged me on LinkedIn and asked if I would be interested in the PreSales Academy. Of course, I had no idea what pre-sales even was. So I had to do some research into it and then decided to go for it for the Academy. And here we are now.
Which is so crazy that it literally started as a LinkedIn message. And now here we are like over a year later, and you're in this brand new role. You're out of teaching. I mean, it's really crazy.
No, it really is. It's so crazy.
So what I heard a little bit about kind of your backstory there was that like you wanted more flexibility, better pay, something new and challenging. So how did you actually end up in your pre-sales role today?
Quite the journey, as you know, Maddie, personally. So after the PreSales Academy, I graduated, I believe, in May. The school year ended in June. And so I just started really trying hard to get into interviews and networking with people to, get to know people in the pre-sales world. And then ultimately, I think I demoed for a lot of companies, as you know, but towards the end of the summer, I believe in like August, I actually got 2 job offers and was able to choose the company that I'm at now and started September 26th and really haven't looked back. But yeah, it was quite the journey to get to this position, that's for sure.
It was, but you had, I think the entire time, you just had such an incredible mindset of just, you were determined, you were committed, and you even had a growth mindset. It's just like nothing was taking you down. You were like getting into pre-sales, which I absolutely loved. And it made working with you just so much fun and actually pretty easy because you were like, okay, one rejection, I'm still going on to the next one. It was like nothing could take you down.
Well, yeah, I also didn't have a job at that point. So I was like, I need a job. And I knew I was going to get picked up somewhere somehow. So I just needed to kind of like keep trucking through. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of tears mixed into this also. But no, it's really all about your attitude. And that's, well, not all about it, but a lot of it is, having that growth mindset and not getting too down on yourself. And honestly, persevering through those hard times. I'm really bringing out my first grade teacher here. But seriously, though, you have to persevere through those like difficult and challenging times because it makes it so much more worth it when you do finally land the job. Like I remember when my recruiter called me and she's like, "We're going to offer you." And I was like, it was the best day ever. So totally worth it, but it's a grind.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's a journey. So to back up just a little bit, like what was your experience like in the program? Maybe like what are 1 to 2 things that like really stood out to you?
Well, everything, because it was a whole new career, honestly. But I will say it was just I just feel like you guys at the PreSales Academy do a really great job of picking just awesome people. So it was like a really awesome group of people that I'm still friends with today, that I still text almost, daily or weekly that I'm, still friends with. So being able to kind of bounce ideas off of them and learn this whole new career with other people who are same, like-minded like you are was awesome. But I mean, I can't even tell you two things that stood out to me because it was literally learning a whole new career. But I will say that the way that, you structure demos in the PreSales Academy and how you all teach students to like do the demos and do your discos is how I'm bringing a lot of that into my company now. And there's a lot of conversations I'm having with my manager currently around, doing our demos the way we did them in PSA. So, I mean, ultimately, I would just say like the structure of demoing because they are very engaging and you always want to make sure you're engaging your prospects. So I would say that's probably the main thing is just like the structure of disco and demos and then the great people that came out of PSA that I'm still friends with. But yeah.
No, I love it. Your cohort, I feel like was really, really close and connected. And it's just fun to see and like hear that too. Just like the camaraderie that you all built amongst each other.
Yeah, definitely. They're really great people. And it's awesome too now to hear about their companies and, how different, companies are. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
So you ended up getting 2 job offers, went with Clear Company. What's it like working for Clear Company? And is it what you expected?
Yeah, I think it is and is not at the same time. I didn't really know what to expect, honestly. My manager actually recently asked me this, and I kind of gave him the same answer where like I didn't know what to expect because this is a whole new job, whole new world, whole new everything. So, I mean, yes. I think it is because you all at PSA do a really great job of like, this is what's going to happen. And even through like interviews and hearing about how other companies structure their, their AEs to their SEs and bouncing those ideas off of you and UG, I kind of had a rough idea of what to expect. So in that sense, yes, but also I had no idea. So, but I will say it's my team, my manager are all better than what I expected. They're the best people I think I've ever met. And I'm so lucky to be able to work with them. The teachers at my last school, you guys are also the best people I've ever met.
Gotta cover all your bases.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you brought up that you're even, bringing things that you've learned and like best practices to your manager and it sounds like to your team. Like now that you've been in the role for some time and are actually in front of customers, like what's your favorite part of the job?
Honestly, I just love talking to people and I love also the amount of and like the breadth of different companies and industries that we get coming through Clear Company is really amazing because you get to learn about all different types of companies. It's super cool. Companies that you've never even known were like a thing. So that's awesome. But you also get to talk to people that you would just never get to speak to all over the world too. So not just in the US. So I think that's probably, my favorite part is getting to talk to people, learning, there's constantly new product coming out. So you're always learning as well. So it's never the same thing, but yeah. So that's part of my favorite.
Yeah. The variety, talking with people and you're good at talking with people and building relationships. So I'm glad you are finding that in your role now.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite parts for sure.
So what advice would you have for people that were in your position like a year ago?
I always just say that LinkedIn is your best friend. And I always tell people that, reach out to me from PSA, like you have to connect with people on LinkedIn and don't expect anything from like messaging people, but I would say network like crazy and find companies you really like, find the sales engineers that work there and kind of message them from there, but just try to get, a 15-minute conversation, not about a job, but just about the company, about how they like the company. And then, once you've built that relationship, they'll remember you in the future when a job does come available. So that's probably my biggest word of advice would be utilize LinkedIn, leverage it to your best advantage. So yeah, that's what I would say is my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah.
Also the Slack channels too. That's where actually my manager was initially connected with me. My manager was just at one point like talking about teachers or something. I can't remember exactly. And my coach Miriam she tagged me and was like, you should talk to this guy. Here we are, now I work for him.
To wrap up our conversation, I feel like you've shared so many great insights just about your personal story and what you did. I think one thing that you left out is during the program, I think, which was 8 weeks at the time, you had over 50 info chats and networking calls, right?
Oh my gosh. I was meeting with people before school. I was getting to my school building at like 5 a.m. sometimes just to talk to people on the East Coast by 6 a.m. and then staying till like 7 p.m. I don't know if I'd recommend that, but I would say I think it did eventually benefit me. And I did get to know a lot of people in the industry, which was nice. But yeah, it was a lot.
You hustled, you definitely did, but you shared such great advice as far as just like your mindset and like reaching out to people using LinkedIn and Slack. So I think these are some great takeaways. But to wrap us up, like, where do you see yourself in a year from now?
I mean, I just feel like I still have so much to learn about this job. I'm still really new to it. I've only been doing demos now since January, so it hasn't been too long. So a year from now, I want to really like nail down my demos. Obviously, like I feel like I'm still learning our system. So I want to be hopefully at the same company and continuing to learn, learn our new product and just be better every day. So hopefully we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I have zero doubts that you will get there, and can definitely see hopefully a promotion in your future too to add to the list. But Jessica, thanks so much for sitting down with me. And Clear Company is so lucky to have you. It's amazing to see you crushing it in your new role, and can't wait to catch up and see where you are in a year from now.
Thanks, Maddie. Thank you so much for having me.